Assalamu alaikum and happy new year. I know we're midway through the month already, but this is my first time seeing our audience today. So I'm wishing everyone a happy new year. And I hope that all of you, that your new year is going well for you and that we're all healthy and happy. Greetings. My name is Dr. Gloria Bashir. And on behalf of Masjid Al-Taqwa and the resident imam, Tariq El-Amin, as well as the Talim Committee, headed by Dr. Aisha El-Amin, and that committee includes myself and Dr. Lionel Allen. I greet you with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And so we're gonna open up today with, open our Talim with Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyak na'budu wa iyyak nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. In English, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath and who go not astray. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I want to introduce three dynamic presenters today. These three young ladies, these young sisters, are going to enlighten us about one of the rites of passage for young people, and that is education. Our guests today are our young sister, Salena Peebles. Salena, nod your head since you're Yaminal, El-Amin, yay, and Zarifah's Shahid. Each of these young women possess a really beautiful spirit of service and giving. And we are just really delighted to hear them share their reflections on education. So I'm gonna just give you a little snippet about these young ladies, okay? First of all, they're sweet, sweet, and sweet. And that's big. And that's spoken as a mother. And so it's wonderful to see young people who are just kind and giving. Sister Salena and Sister Yaminal are both sophomores at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And Sister Zarifah is a senior at the University of Illinois, Champaign. And I'm going to really let them talk about themselves and their majors, and then they will go into their reflections. So I hope that you all have lots and lots of questions and comments for these young ladies, okay? So why don't we start with, since we have our double duo here, our duo, why don't we start with you two ladies, Salena and Zarifah? Salena, Yaminal.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Salena, sophomore at UIC. My major is human development and learning with a minor in psychology. And my future goals of life is to be a child psychotherapist.
Okay, so I'm Yaminal. I'm a sophomore at UIC and I'm majoring in business, minoring in human resources. Right now, I'm in a couple of clubs here at UIC, Salena's in them too. We're in the Black Student Union and the African American Academic Network, and basically all the Black clubs you can be in. Yeah. And in the future, I hope to have several properties that I own. And, you know, I'm a businesswoman, so hopefully I'll be with a good corporate company.
Beautiful, beautiful. Zarifah.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Zarifah. I am a senior at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, studying global studies with a concentration in governance and conflict resolution and a certificate in social international development. And I'm minoring in theoretical math. There's absolutely no reason or rhyme for that. I just like math. My future goals are to be a lawyer in community economic development. So I'm applying to law school this semester. Well, this school year, it's been an experience. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So let me just, dive a little bit into, what you all are interested in. First of all, Salena, I love the whole concept of therapy. I think that therapy is so important to so many people and is underutilized, particularly in the African-American community. So I think that you are certainly going to be engaging in something that's going to be extremely beneficial and of service, right? And you're right. And so I'm thrilled about that. What brought you to that major?
Honestly, well, first, I just knew I wanted to work with children. Like, that was my main goal. I was in child development in high school, and I did a project about like just different services that like babies, infants to like preschool age, like what we could do to help them, like whether it was speech therapy or like physical therapy, anything of that nature. And I came across psychotherapy, and it's just like, I don't know, just being able to help children with trauma really like, I was like, that's something that I want to do. Like, just like, I don't want to just, oh, you hurt your knee. Okay, let's walk up the stairs or let's do some crawling exercises. Like, no, I want to help children like get through the traumas that they might have like experienced through, sadly, like through parents or other peers or anything. Like, I want to actually like be like a very beneficial like helper like into their life developmentally and like emotionally. And honestly, also, I seen the pay on psychotherapy, and that was like way more than like regular. I'm like, okay, let me see what this got going on. So yeah, that's how I came to that job and like my major and minor.
Yes. That's excellent. I think that looking at trauma, trauma everyone, but in children, it just can be very devastating. And there's the whole idea of, trauma and carrying that trauma in your DNA and passing trauma, and passing it on and passing it forward in not a good way, right? And so I think that is extremely needed. So yes, wonderful. Yamina, tell us about your interests.
Okay, so first I got into like the business university because I started like with a like summer class, I guess, for UIC. So it would have been in person and like a lot more interactive and stuff. But since it was like fresh off of the pandemic, we had everything online. So I had like a couple of classes, like like finance and marketing and stuff. And it kind of just gave me a feel for what classes and business would entail. So I decided, why not? Because I feel like I feel like I can get along with people pretty nicely. So business kind of just made sense to me, especially since I was already in the summer program for it.
Mhm.
So I just applied, and right now at first I wasn't sure which minor I wanted to have because finance and accounting are very difficult. So I was leaning towards marketing, but I ended up with human resources because, one, my auntie's in there and my cousin, and they both said they really like it. And once again, it's about like talking to people and stuff. So I feel like I'd be pretty successful in that type of field. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that, you mentioned in your own intro, right? You mentioned about you'd like to own properties and property development. There is such an issue with housing, particularly You know, we have a huge homeless community across the country, right? And housing is outpricing so many families now. So it's absolutely ridiculous. There was a talk last week on Studying Al-Islam where there is a Muslim housing development that's in progress in DC. And I'm so interested, I'm so geeked about that. I just have to add that to my other list of things that I'm geeked about. But it would be it's so wonderful to see a young Muslim woman who is embarking on, you know, real estate, okay? So women have been blocked out of so many. I mean, that glass ceiling is real, and it would be wonderful to see you shatter that along with other young women who are interested in real estate and interested in particularly, and I'm not putting my interest on you, but I'm just throwing it out there, but particularly for those who are interested in working with underserved people and them having not just housing, but wonderful housing, right?
Yeah.
So yes, wonderful, wonderful. So now we're gonna talk to Zarifah. Zarifah and Zarifah has some kind of interesting things that we're going to talk about toward the end, some of her experiences. And so, but I first want you to talk about, you know, what brought you to your major area of concentration and what you want to do with that.
Okay, I have a very complicated, a little bit convoluted story. So I actually did not start university with anything that I wanted to do or anything that I'm doing now in mind. I started at UIC, so hi UIC ladies, as neuroscience because I wanted to be a neuroscientist. I didn't like biology that much. So that's why I started exploring some other options. I was always interested in political science type things. I was in Model UN in high school. That's kind of like debate, but like also live action role playing for people who are interested in international politics and whatnot. So that was a big interest of mine. And when I transferred down here, I went into international studies for that reason, because I was like, oh yes, this is something I'm definitely interested in. But the more that I learned about international development and like international politics, the more I realized that the work that actually did make change, like things that make waves, are done at home. You can't come at the top and tell people, hey, tell your country to stop poverty if you're not at the local level and the city level saying, okay, how can we stop poverty? Nothing will get done if it's just people at the top, you know, talking to each other. But that was very informative for me, and like understanding how things work, not only in the US, but in other countries is also really, really helpful for understanding kind of where we're at and where we could be. So yeah, that's why I have that social development and interest certificate to see how a social policy is done in other countries and also here and how they relate, because I think all of us know that here in the US, we are not very socially conscious with how we treat, especially as you mentioned, Dr. Gloria, our underserved community, specifically our community. And it's not like other people are doing the same thing abroad. You know, it's not like they're, you know, they all have different policies, but abroad, a lot of social policy exists for underserved communities, or certain underserved communities are doing certain things within their, you know, nations or within the cities that they live in other countries that we could definitely take some nods from. So I feel like they do connect at the end of the day. But yeah, just wanting to serve underserved people and make sure that my people are good is the reason that I'm interested in community economic development law, to make sure that the resources that we need and that are allocated to us that we deserve are being given to us properly, so that we don't have any difficulty obtaining those things, so that we can, you know, get what little is coming to us at this time. So yeah, that's why.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. I feel a real kinship here right now, because I actually have something personally in common with all three of you. So I was in the Model United Nations, and yes, it existed those many years ago when I was in high school. And I am a social worker, and I am currently looking into real estate. So I feel just a little bit of kinship here. So you all are doing some phenomenal work in your own right as young people, as young adults. I love the forward thinking that each of you display. And so what are some things that you all could kind of share, impart, kind of suggest to our moms and dads and aunts and uncles and our papas and big mamas and mud deers and all folks out here who are listening, who have loved folk who, they're young people in their lives who they want to encourage. What are some things that you can say to them to encourage them? And I'm going to let you each jump in, okay? However you feel comfortable.
Okay, so encouragement, like while you're in the thick of it, is kind of hard to give, but I can say, like, from my standpoint, like right now, I would say go to college if you feel like you can succeed. It gives you like more independence, I would say, and you kind of have to schedule things on your own time, so you don't really have like your teachers like, oh, did you turn this homework assignment in or whatever. Like, you really just need to manage for yourself, kind of. But encouragement, I would say look at the money you're gonna get when you finish. I don't know if that's like unprofessional, but you get more opportunities when you go to college. So
like the diploma is like, a lot of jobs are like, oh, did you go to college? And then that's how you get that promotion. Or because I know someone who literally, like, I feel like they do better in the field that they're in. And there's people that gets more money, more opportunities to go higher in ranks just because like they have a diploma. Like, they're not really looking at the hard work. Like, some people do, but just that extra little certification, like, I am now licensed.
And then, and then also, like, sometimes when you're in college, you get like internships and stuff a lot easier. So then right out of college, you have a job. And I feel like, well, a lot of jobs now, you need like prior experience or whatever. Yeah. So being in college, you'll just be able to, get that. And they probably want to hire you after that.
Yes. So were there any other experiences that you had in high school, or maybe working, in the summer, some of your part-time job experiences that kind of also fueled your interest in college? And if so, can you talk about that?
Definitely. Zarifah, you want to go first?
Go first. Okay.
Please mute yourselves for those of you in the audience, please. Thank you. So Latifa, Wangara, yourself?
I prefer an earlier morning drink.
Sister Latifa Wangara, can you mute yourself? At your house.
Late afternoon already. Right. And,
Dr. Gloria?
Yes.
Are you able to make me co-host and I can take care of that for you?
Okay, I will do that. Let me see. So here's my deficit tech. So let me figure it out.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right, where she's muted. Okay, because I can't figure that out.
Oh, cool. Okay. So for me personally, I thought that I would be interested in a career that would require significant, even post-college like work. So I knew for myself that like college would be kind of a necessity. But also in my high school career, I took some college classes as a high school student at the community colleges of Chicago, which I think are an excellent option, not only for like high schoolers, but anyone who like doesn't know for sure if they're like interested in college yet, or if they just feel like they would benefit from smaller classes or something like closer to home. Definitely a good option for students. I always recommend like community for people if they feel that that's something they're interested in. But being able to take like some community college class told me I was also prepared for college. It made me feel more confident that I would be able to handle like the classwork and like the style of education and like self-management, all of those things. I felt more prepared having that experience and coming into university. I wasn't entirely prepared, but I felt more prepared, like just having that before I went to like university.
Oh, you know what? Thank you for mentioning that, because that was actually part of what I wanted to talk about, and that is the community colleges. So throughout the country, there are some communities, and Chicago is one, where community college can be of no cost to you. You know, you've got to have the grades to go to community colleges free of charge, but that's an option. And it's an exceptional option because it allows, as Zarifah said, students to really build their confidence, to and to defray a lot of economic cost. So if you can attend 2 years of community college free, that's a huge burden, financial burden that's lifted off you, lifted off your parents, less in student loans that you have to get. So, and not to mention the fact that you get that wonderful experience of you know, higher learning, right? So I'm glad that you brought that up. That was something that actually our dear brother Clyde El-Amin, who is the former president of Kennedy King College, and I think also Olive Harvey, that he particularly asked that I mentioned today. And so I'm glad that you did. So yes, I totally agree with that. I think that that's a great experience, and that is great advice to all of the aunts and uncles and parents and papas and muddias out there who want to encourage their young people to go to school. Community college is an excellent place to start. Yes, yes. So any other ideas about, you know, your field of study and how you can be an ambassador for that field of study with your peers? How can you encourage some of your peers? Thoughts, Yamina? Future businesswoman.
Yeah, so as far as encouraging my peers, I feel like my school already tries to do that because they put us in cohorts. So for like our major business classes, we'll be with the same people. But honestly, like making group chats, it can really be helpful because if somebody doesn't know what to do with the homework, then someone else can help them out. Or like if you're wondering where you can find tutoring at, you can do that too.
Yes. Yes, yes. I think that those are great ideas. I hadn't even thought about group chats. But you know, as you all know, you now carry responsibility, right? To pay it forward. So that's an excellent way. Salena, any ideas from you?
Yeah, so for peers, this is also for like college in general. Like I feel like a lot of people our age are just like, you know, I don't think school is for me because I don't want to be working under nobody or anything like that. But also, like once I picked my major and started to go to college and stuff, I know I don't want to work for anyone either, but that's why I'm also planning on, once I do get deep into my field of like psychotherapy, I want to soon work up to owning my own therapy counseling office. So there's different ways that people can, you know, still go to college and not end up working for people and stuff. But to be an ambassador for my specific major, like I feel like just those people who are like invested in others, like who feel like they have a really good, like, I don't know, like a comforting spirit for people to think that, you know, oh, I can help this person. Like it doesn't just have to be children. Like a lot of adults need therapy as well. But like, I think if you just have a really like open mind and like, you know, a warm heart, anyone could do this. Well, not anyone, but specific people could do this major and it could be really fulfilling.
I'm sorry, but my friend apparently left her ID and she's locked out the dorm, so I'm gonna let her in really quick.
Okay. That's giving and paying it forward. We like that. Zarifah. So any ideas that you have now that, I mean, you are the upperclassmen, you are, this is your last semester. Yes, yes, yes. And so you've got several years of behind you of college. And so now, you know, you can really kind of impart some knowledge here. What do you think?
Okay, recommendations for college or recommendations for people who want to take my major or like career path?
Well, I think recommendations for just young people who are interested in college, perhaps your career path. And what about, I just got a note here. Someone is asking about your own Islamic background and how they might have influenced you. And I do want to add, not to interrupt you, but that Zarifah was homeschooled. And her mom, Sister Aisha, did an amazing job to prepare you. And so you can even talk about that. But I'd just like to hear some of your thoughts about how you can encourage others, how you can encourage them for your course of study.
Okay, so for my course of study, I always tell people, this is, I think, specifically for people who are interested in political science or interested in international like relations, but don't like the vibe of political science. I know that there's a stereotype that is not necessarily always true about political science departments. And they're like, oh, you know, a lot of they're gunning to be lawyers, or they're all really like, but I find that international studies across the board seems to be a little more laid back, but also a little more open. So a student from my field has to be very self-motivated, because you have to, if you work with your counselor to create your own field of study. So you have to justify every class that you take. It's not like off a list. You have to go to your counselor every year and say, okay, I'm taking this, this, this. And you have to have a little written addendum as to why you're taking these classes and why they make sense for your study area. So for someone who like doesn't necessarily like the confines of political science, or someone who just prefers international studies, I would definitely recommend that for those people. Math, I can only recommend to people who like math. That's my only thing. Just like math, you'll be all right. I'm gonna actually okay, so the Islamic background, I guess as a Muslim person, I feel that as a non-mainstream kind of ideological background, I think it hasn't necessarily prepared me for like interacting with non-Muslims, because the thing is, like, I interact with a lot of different kinds of people all the time. So I can't necessarily say like how being Muslim has like affected my interactions with other people, but I know that affects my viewpoints, like how I view myself, how I think about things, how I consider certain problems, how I consider certain necessities. You know, like in international studies, we can definitely see that like some people are like, okay, we have to do this, 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 like things that are considered to be like norms are really just like, it's very weird, like Christian norms. They're normed in the world. And I'm just like, well, why would anyone want to do that? That's not necessary, because I just come from a different background. So I think I provide diversity of thought. I think that I provide like a diversity of experiences in that. Yeah, so for that. But for other students who are interested in college, all I can always say is please be comfortable with having a schedule, like creating your own schedule. That's the number one thing. I say, figure out if you can do it. If you know that college is for you, the year before or the summer before, please get a planner, a Google Calendar, something, so that you can like have your schedule together. That's the one thing that I always tell everybody, because everybody forgets and they think that everything will be together for them, and they don't. So definitely that would be the one piece of advice that I would give.
Yeah, I think that's excellent to say, because you have to be a self-starter always in every profession, I think. But having a schedule is important. So I've got a couple of questions in the chat, and I'm gonna call on them to ask their question. Rod Bashir, you have a question in particular, and please ask your question. The floor is open.
Assalamu alaikum, young ladies and everybody. I think, Zarifah, you've answered part of my question in terms of how has your Islamic background prepared you in terms of interacting with non-Muslims? But the second part of my question is, how do you and the rest of you see yourselves contributing to the future of Al-Islam in America?
Great question. Unmute yourselves.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just go ahead. So, contributing to the future of Al-Islam in America, I think of myself as a ambassador for, like just what a Muslim person can be, that a Muslim person can look any kind of way and like be any kind of, it can be, a Black woman and who is interested in the legal field. And I feel like my impact is obviously, I feel like as a Muslim, I have a responsibility to use what I have to help my community and others. And so I feel like I'm carrying out that responsibility to the world, that with the gifts that Allah gave me, with the path that I'm choosing. So I feel like that's how I'm contributing to Al-Islam. And because I'm American and because like my people are African American, I'm also contributing to like the US. But also I think that just my presence in a lot of rooms, I think contributes to hopefully a positive understanding and view on Islam and Muslims in the eyes of other people in this country, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yamina, I think you missed part of the question, but this was from Brother Rob Bashir, and he wanted to know, and if I misquote you, please repeat your question. Brother Rod, if you can do that, so I don't misquote you.
Okay, let me find my question. I wanted to be very specific.
She ready.
I can see
Ready.
it. Is the one in the chat?
I forgot y'all were college students, and my apologies.
But no, I think this is a great question, honestly. I would say my Islamic background kind of helped me interact with non-Muslims and just anyone in general, is because like I feel like me, I don't look like if you look at me, you're not gonna think I'm Muslim because I don't wear hijab or whatever. But it kind of just helps me to not like judge people about like how they look and stuff. Like I get to know people, instead of just like looking at them, I like to say. And also it helps contributing to the future of Al-Islam in America. Okay, so me and Salena and a friend of ours, I think Sultan, he's like, man, I'm a but we were talking about how we wanted to create like a Black Muslim student organization at UIC, just because like it doesn't feel that welcoming going to like the regular. Yeah, it doesn't feel that comfortable going into like where the Arabs, pray and stuff. Like not everybody's like that, but just the community and like some things I've heard from talking to other people, it's just not a good feeling. So we're trying to establish that and bring some type of community to IC.
Yeah, we're trying to create a very open space for like specifically Black Muslims, but we don't discriminate.
Yeah.
Like you could be anybody, but like specifically Black Muslims, because there have been, and also Uncle Tyreek's question is being a little bit answered. What are the challenges?
Yeah.
As a Muslim in college, we have like freshman year, it was kind of like we just came in and just tried to meet people. But this year, since we're like more comfortable and like our values doesn't really align with a lot of people, like there are certain things that we won't do. So this year we have been more conscious of like, oh my God, where are the Muslims at? And UIC is a very diverse school. So like, we know they're here. We just got to find them.
Yeah.
And it also helps that Dr. Aisha, she's here and like, she gets a lot of Muslims.
Yeah.
So she could like point them our way, like, oh, I know some Muslims. Blah, blah, blah.
She networks.
Yeah. So that all works. But it is kind of challenging because we want to kind of find people that's like, who can align with us just like very well. So when we tried to come up with this this club, we went to our
Muslim chaplain.
The Muslim chaplain, and we kind of had got a group together, and like so we're like trying to form that now, just to get like a more inclusive space for Muslims, and like I know other people are like, oh, where the Muslims at?
Just to make everyone feel welcome.
Yeah,
like they're not alone.
That's really inspiring. I'd love to hear that. Iman, did you want to expand at all on your question?
That was actually my question.
Assalamu
I'm just
Okay.
I'm under his.
Yeah, that was
No,
Okay.
but they responded to it where I really just am trying to capture their experiences, so they can both let us let us know as community members how to support them in their journey, and also how to prepare other young people as they enter into that space.
Yes. Sister Zarifah, did you have any particular comments about those questions?
Yes.
Okay. Roll with it.
Okay. So, Dag, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all have that too up there. Similar problem as far as belonging in community down here. But we're a PWI, for those of us who might not have all those acronyms. It's predominantly white institution. So UIC is majority minority. We're 65, I think 65% white. So there's that. So from that angle, and by white I mean like, you know, Midwestern general, the kind of people that you would normally meet in the Midwest. So my first time that I went to an MSA meeting here, I went to Juma on the Quad, and it was okay. I got some looks from the community members themselves, but I was just used to that. I was like, okay, whatever, you know, I'm here, I'm dressed appropriately, I got my scarf on, it's not a big deal. What I was not prepared for was like the looks from all the white people just staring. And I felt so uncomfortable. And they do that all the time when the weather's warm. And I just wasn't ready for that. So I just was like, I'll wait till it's cooler and we're inside. But we have the same problem as far as that Yamina and Salena talked about. We had a BMSA, we do still, it's a very informal organization. And we have a lot of, and I hate to say this, but we got a lot of like separate minority organizations for Muslims. So we have like an underrepresented minority Muslim association. We have a Pakistani Muslims association. We have separate like Muslim students association. So it wasn't necessarily weird that we had like a BMSA. So there's that, but I think there's like some mixed stuff with that. When I went abroad, I feel like that was actually an issue, and I've talked, I'm sure, to a lot of you guys about like my experience abroad. But
put a pin in that, because that's something we're gonna talk about toward the end.
Yes, but that was a challenge as well, just finding a community. Let's say that.
Yes. Excellent. You know, this is very inspiring for me, really, because I love education. I also attended U of I, Chicago, and so this is, you know, it makes me feel like super good to know that there are young people who are, you know, bringing it forward. I think Brother Bill had a question or comment.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Well, I'll make this pretty quick. So the first one is to say I'm fascinated by all three of your majors and what you're interested in. But okay, that's a whole nother story. One of the things that I picked up on what Yamina and Zarifah talked about briefly. Most people know I was at American Islamic College. I was a student counselor for about 3 years. One of the things that I noticed, and I was always doing resumes for people. So these are, you know, undergraduates and some graduate students. And often it wasn't for a job in an Islamic school or whatever. But the thing I noticed is that people underestimated what should be on their resume and how much experience they have. So, you know, I would get somebody who would say, well, you know, I've gone to college and graduated, but, you know, I've never really had a job, you know, working. And then I'd start asking them more about, well, did you ever volunteer for anything? Did you ever set up a group like in your community or whatever? And a lot of times, like any of the activities that you all did in the masjid, you know, maybe you assisted with some, like there was a business program, I remember a few years ago, or you helped set up or got involved with Dr. Constance to talk about some of the things that are going on in the Islam Center. So there's all of that is great stuff to put on your resume. And even I think Salena was talking about that creating a Black Muslim group at UIC. That's something that would be great on a resume because it shows like initiative. You've got organizational power. You can look at a situation and realize, well, wait a minute, there's not a group like this. So all of that is actually very positive to put on your resume. And obviously things like Zarifah's got the overseas trip and any internships, all of that. But a lot of times people underestimate that. The last thing I was going to mention is this is for Salena, and I guess this is a example of this kind of thing. I know you mentioned you're interested in psychotherapy and maybe trauma work with children. One of the other good things to do, and I had mentioned this to Dr. Constance, there is an Institute of Muslim Mental Health, and they are out of Michigan State University. And you can become a member just by signing up. I don't even think it costs anything. And they have a conference that they hold every year. And I think this year, maybe it's in March. I think it's in East Lansing in Michigan. But if you get an opportunity to go to some of those kind of professional things, you put that on your resume too. And the last comment I want to make about that is they had a conference a few years ago in Phoenix. And I attended this one session. And one thing, it's a very, very diverse view of Muslims in this organization. So it's great. But they had a group that was doing like community trauma work. And it was in Detroit. I kind of remember that. And they acted out how they did that. And this wasn't with children, but it was for the African American different communities in Detroit that had just been through a whole lot of trauma. So I was just going to say, looking into those kind of things, whether you're a business or psychotherapy or whatever to be part of, that's also a very big help.
Excellent.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna look into that.
Thank you, Brother Bill. So what I want to do now is kind of shift over to Zarifah's her internship and abroad travel experiences, because we've all got so many questions, and I'd really like to save a little space at the end for people to just kind of ask a few more questions. So Zarifah, are you prepared to kind of do a few pictures with that? Okay.
Just 1 second, let me get glad
Yes.
that I connected to the Zoom call.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the questions and comments that the attendees have asked. I mean, I think are phenomenal. And I just want to put out there that if there's any support that any of us can offer, please let us know. We want to be able to lift up and support our young people in all facets. And so let us know. We're here for you. Of course, you all come from, wonderful families. We know that your parents, your aunts, your extended family members are also there for you. So, and sadly, a lot of students don't have that. And so, but I'm glad that you all do. And I wish that more students could have that outpouring of support. Okay. We know how important support is. And so I'm so glad that you have that. And I'm glad that you're having these opportunities. And I really thank you for sharing your comments.
It's like 2 more seconds.
Okay, no worries.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thanks for asking us. I feel like this is pretty nice, to just give everyone a little view of how our college life has been.
Yes. Not that it's about me, but college was the best time of my life. So I really, really had a great college experience. So
Is that because I was there?
of course.
Yeah, right.
Of course, husband, of course. I do want to this time while we're kind of to get our slides together, because I think it's really, really important to really be welcoming and inclusive about our young adults who don't choose college. Okay, college is not for everyone. I recognize that. We know that college has its benefits, but there are folk who are like, you know, college is not my thing, and that's okay. I think that that's important to recognize and to honor, because you know what? Most of the people in the world are not college bound. Most of the people in the world are not college educated. But guess what else? These are the people who help the world go round, okay? They're the ones who keep things moving. And so, you know, paraphrasing Dr. King, if you're gonna be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper. So whatever you choose to do, if you choose a trade, if you choose, you know, that, you know what, I don't want the trappings of all of this career stuff, but I just want to be a good person. I want to work. I want to be able to support my family. And so I just want to honor that, because it's very, very, we all love college. We love college kids, but I want to show some honor and show some love to those who choose not, that's not really their thing, and that's okay. And Imam Tariq, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gloria. Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to ask a quick question to the panel. First of all, thank you to all of you. But are you aware of your growth over your college careers thus far? And what are the things that you notice when you think about that?
Well, like to answer it kind of plainly, I would say I had to be like more like responsible for doing what I need to do in the time I have. Like my time management is something I always struggle with, but like since I've gotten in college, I've been reaching out to my advisors, and I have this one advisor I talk to, and she kind of helps me like plan my stuff to make sure I'm not falling behind any classes, or just I have room to like do my homework and stuff. So I would say one improvement that's like I've noticed definitely throughout college is my time management.
Okay. Thank you. Salena?
I think probably a lot. Mainly for me though, it's probably the independence, because not to say like I depend on mom for everything, but for a lot of things, I just call her up or something. But now, like, I feel like I'm more like I feel like I advocate for myself a little bit more, probably. Like for people who know me, I was really, really shy. Like probably a couple years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to do this even. But so like more like, I don't know, probably just, yeah.
More outgoing.
Yeah, more outgoing. Yeah.
Friendly,
Yeah.
Oh,
somebody pulled your switch.
Can I also add in one more thing? I would say it's given me like experience talking to different people, and like I actually know how to have an interview now. I've had a lot of like mock interviews and stuff. So yeah, I would say college helped me like be more professional, like networking wise.
Excellent. We do have one more question before we get started with Sharifa's picture piece presentation. There was someone, brother, can you ask your question about internships? Maybe he's left, but he basically, okay, there you go.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Taufik by name. I'm a student here in Texas, Nacogdoches, that's Stephen F. Austin State University, under University of Texas. So I'm studying cybersecurity. So being an international student, I'm a grad student. So I didn't have my undergrad here in the United States. So trying to apply for internship. So I've been seeing clauses in the requirement like you have to be a US citizen or you have a security clearance before you can get an internship in cybersecurity. I think it's because of the word security in it. So I don't know. And I can only get security clearance if I have maybe like permanent residence, maybe blue passport, or maybe if I was born here or I've been here for like 10 years or for a while. I don't know. and I need to have my summer internship so that to give me a theory credit unit for my final year. Thanks. I don't know. I just need advice or something.
Thank you, brother, and welcome to our Talim. And do either of you have any suggestions about
to Dr. Gloria, it sounds like this student probably should go to there's international offices at each of your universities generally, and someone who oversees that area. And because there's different guidelines for international students than any other students. So I'm not sure if the panelists are the best equipped to respond to that. But if he goes to whatever university, look up international students internships, and because it's very specific to them.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. This is your wheelhouse, so I'm so glad that you jumped in. Thank you. Okay, Sister Zarifah, are you ready? All right.
Yes. Okay. Shall I share my screen and see if I have permission to?
Yeah, I think it's something I may need to do with that. Okay.
Can I get permission to share my screen?
Okay, yes. And pardon me, but share content, is that what I need to do?
Yes.
Okay. And
no, you actually have to, if you just scroll to her name as a participant, click on her name.
Don't scroll to mine. Just, I'm on here secondarily as Shahid without Zarifah. So if you guys can find that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look.
But I guess I could give a little bit of intro while we're doing that. Would that be a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you find her name, just go ahead and press just put make co-host and she can do it that way.
Okay. So alrighty. I think I got it.
Okay, so some background. For my major, I'm actually required to study abroad. That's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. And I didn't know what to expect from that necessarily. I didn't know it was gonna like happen. I've never studied abroad before. I didn't know anyone who really did other than the people in my major. So I chose France because my friend and we both decided we were going to go together, and I think that was a good choice. But also I thought it would be someplace that I would be comfortable given our community's history with the country, all of that jazz. And no, I can make myself co-host now. Great. So anyway, I ended up deciding to study abroad in Paris. The program worked well with my scheduling, all of that jazz. It was financially feasible, which is something that a lot of people ask about studying abroad. It can be financially feasible. And okay, I've made myself co-host, so I can share pictures. But yes, I stayed with a host family. And I got to learn a lot about French culture, French food. I like cheese, so that's kind of important to me. And also about the French education system, which is a lot different than ours. Education is a service. I mean, a right, not a service. It's a service here, which means we pay for it, but we get good service. It's a right, which means they don't pay for it. So service is a little mixed. And the way professors and everything is a bit different. But I think it was overall a very good experience for me. To learn about, especially education. I learned about policy in other countries all the time, but learning about education and learning about it firsthand was really, really interesting. So let me see if I can share my screen. So, okay, let's not do it like this. Let me just straight up share my screen. Okay. Can we see?
Yes. Beautiful. Yes.
Okay. So, can we do this? Okay, so let me sweat me out. Uh-oh. Are we good? Can we still see?
Yes, we can.
Okay, ignore my little picture on the bottom. At the top right, top left, I guess, to everyone, Eiffel Tower. Everybody loves Eiffel Tower. I thought I would just include that. The next one directly to its right is my classroom, one of the classrooms I studied in. The thing about France is they like to repurpose a lot of old buildings. So a lot of places that used to be the homes of aristocrats, rich people, all of that after the revolution, and especially after World War II were repurposed. So a lot of classrooms look like that. That's a castle right next to it in the southern part, southern part of France. Kings lived there. As I think a lot of us may know, France has a very long history with Islam, especially the Islamic Empire. And there's a lot of featured Muslims and like during the Moorish times in their art. So the run right next to it is French, the Crusaders taking an L from the Moors. They're losing to the Moors in this painting, and I thought it was interesting because it's not often portrayed, the losses in the Crusade, so I took a picture of that, and I thought I would share with you guys. I went to see Josephine Baker's tomb at the Pantheon. I think everybody heard about that. She was like the first Black woman and one of the first few Americans to be put in there, so I had to go see her. They had a lot of Islamic art, a lot of art from especially Islamic West Africa, and that was very interesting to me because I want to know what that's all about. So just seeing that, they have a lot of Muslims in Paris, but just it's not what you necessarily hear about. Like everyone hears about hijab ban, all that. Tons of hijabis. There's a ton of Muslims of all backgrounds there. It's very, very like ubiquitous, which is really, really cool. So yeah, so these are just some of the highlights, some of the artwork, some of the stuff that I saw while I was there. And at the very bottom on the right, that's my host family. They were really, really wonderful, very accommodating, very understanding, all that jazz. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh,
Yeah, that art looked amazing.
yes. Let me, any last questions from anyone? First of all, that was absolutely beautiful. I appreciate that so much. You shared your experience with all of us, and we were just thrilled, all of us, that you were able to go and be a representative for, any questions, any comments from anyone before we start to wrap it up? So I want to open the floor for these last couple minutes.
Mr. Gloria.
Yes.
Assalamu
Yes.
alaikum. Bashir Saab.
Yes.
Let me thank these young ladies for coming on today and sharing with us. And also, we want to commend the families of these children for the great work they did in nurturing them and developing them to come to this stage in their life. And I'd like these young sisters to know too, that this community, not only the Muslim community, but the African-American community, what they're doing is very important. We quite often hear in this time, in the 21st century, we hear from African-American communities that I'm the first of my family to have to go to college. Now, I know some of you are not the first. Some of your family members have been to college and have graduated. But just to remind you that you're representing the African-American community and what you're doing, the endeavors that you're doing today, because it's important. I know you mentioned about money, and money is important too. But knowledge is something that Allah has given us to benefit the humanity. And in our community, this particular community that you grew out of, that community that was started by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he stressed education also. There was a saying during that period of time, it said, you will not be equal to the white man, or in that fact, any man, unless you have equal education. And Imam Wardi Muhammad gave us the insight gave us the challenge to remake the world. So I wanted to just part that on you and say how proud we are of you. And we're expecting a lot of you, and you can expect a lot from us. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Well put, Brother Bashir. So thankful for your comments. We can always rely on you to just close us out good. So any other further comments at all before we go? Anyone? Oh, we're getting thank yous. Lots of thank yous. Yes, lots of all praise be to Allah. Wonderful presentation. You know, thanking you all, thank you ladies for sharing your perspectives and experiences. And our prayers that Allah continue to bless you. I personally thank you because I think that what you have to say is so very important. And I think it's important for other young people to hear words coming from their peers. So it's not, us parents and older folk who are talking at them, but you are talking to them. And so I just really appreciate that.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? This is Dr. Matt Yoon. I just want to say, are these the two young ladies that used to come into my kindergarten class asking for homework? I'm so proud of you. You just don't know. Wonderful job, all three of you. Thank you so much. It's Salena. My name is Salena. She couldn't even say her name, but look at her. So proud of you, all of you.
Look at her now. Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Magyun. We appreciate you. We appreciate, your comments to these young ladies. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And my last comments, of course, we are a diverse community. We are a welcoming community. We are an inclusive community. And I just want to also show love to our non-college young adults. And we want them to find their path and to find their passion as you have done. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Any comments at all from you, Imam Tariq? Or thank yous?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, Dr. Gloria. Please proceed. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We went a couple minutes over, but I think it was worth it. So thank you, ladies. Alhamdulillah. We're just going to close briefly with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. May Allah continue to bless our young adults, bless these young ladies who are sitting here today, who gave up their time and their energy and gave up and all of their good work. And we pray Allah that you cover and protect them. We pray Allah that you keep them strong. Alhamdulillah. Ameen.